Hi, this is Mrs. Crosland. We are going to do Unit 4, Lesson 7, and our learning target today is I can multiply a decimal number by a decimal number. Up until now, we've been multiplying whole numbers by decimals, so today we're going to figure out what do you do when you have two decimals. So before we get started, I'd like for you to make sure that you have, probably some scratch paper, your multiplication chart, a good pencil, and open your textbook to page 177. All right, here we are on page 177, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. I think that the way this is shown, the explanation can be a little bit confusing for kids. So if you're a little bit confused, don't worry. We're going to get to a point where it will make sense to you. Just kind of keep up with me, keep filling in your textbook like I do, and eventually it's going to make sense to you. Okay? All right. So we're going to deal with money like we've done before. And in this instance, we're talking about someone named Leon who earns $213 a month, and his earnings are shown there in dollar bills. He saves some of his money each month. Question number 1. If Leon saves 1/10 of his earnings, how much will he save each month? So it's a math problem that you already know how to do. So we've got 1/10 of or times 213. And you know how to do that. You learned how to do that in our previous lesson. So it should be $21.30. Easy peasy, right? All right, next question, number 2. If Leon saves 1/10 of his earning, what happens to the value of each bill? All right, I'm going to start over here on the big bills, and I don't know how easily you can see this, but these are $100 bills underneath the 2, so $200 bills, right? So the $200 bills over here change into $10 bills over here. And the $10 bill changes into a $1 bill, and the 3 $1 bills up here change into 3 dimes. Okay, so what happens to the value? Well, if you're going from a dollar to a dime, $10 bill to a $1 bill, it's becoming 1/10 of the original value. It's like you're taking the original value and dividing it by 10, 1/10. Number 3, if Leon saves 1/10 of his earnings, what happens to the value of each digit? I'm going to write the $213 above here like this. I think it's a little easier to see if I write it like that. And I'll get rid of this little arrow here. So let's take a look at it digit by digit. So the 2 and the hundreds move to the tens. The tens move to the ones, and the 3 move to the dimes. Okay? What happened to the value of each digit? It became 1/10 of the value divided by 10. Now, when you multiply by 1/10, does each digit shift to the right or the left? Well, they all went this way, right? That is to the right. So the answer down here is right. And you could just write a letter R if you don't want to write that whole word out. That's perfectly fine. And I have to stop here and kind of explain something to you, because if you are having an adult help you on your homework, they might be confused by this. So we as adults, many of us learned to shift the decimal and not the numbers or the digits. So if you're working with an adult and they say, no, you shift to the left, and you're saying, no, you shift to the right, you are probably both right, because they're talking about moving this decimal over and you're talking about moving the numbers over. So the decimal moves one way and the numbers move the other way. So just in case you run into some confusion, just kind of explain to the adult that we're learning now to shift the numbers, the digits, and not the decimal. Okay? Notice how if you're multiplying by 1/10 of a number, it's like you're dividing by 10 and your answer is smaller than what you started with. Number 5, how many places does each digit shift? Well, the 3 went from here to 1 over. The 1 went 1 over and the 2 went 1 over. It shifted 1 place. Now, notice how there's 1 decimal in that 1/10 and it shifted one place. Keeping that in mind as we go to the next problem on the next page. Now, same person, same amount of money. I'm going to write his number up here. His earnings were $213. And now instead of saving 1/10, he's going to save 1/100th each month. Okay, so this is what happens when you have 1/100th. So you're multiplying 1/100th of or times 213. The answer is $2.13. Not a whole lot to save, right? But over time, if you save $2 every month, it adds up over the years. Number 7. What happens to the value of each bill? Now, I didn't draw the two $100 bills underneath here. I don't think I could do that very well. But look at where they shift. They shift over to $1 bills. Okay, there was one $10 bill. It shifted over to dimes. And the three $1 bills shifted over to pennies. So what happened to each bill? It became 1/100th. Think about it. There's 100 pennies in $1. So when it shifts from $1 to 1 penny, it's 1/100th of the value. What happens to the digits? Same thing. They become 1/100th. Now, did the digit shift to the right or to the left? Well, look at the 3. It went all the way over here. The 1 went all the way there. The 2 went over there. Again, we're shifting to the right. The digits are shifting. And how many places? Oh, I kind of made a mess of our board up here, but if I'll switch to a different color, you can see. So the 2 here skipped over this one, went to that one, went 1, 2 places over. The 1 in the tens went 2 places over. And the 3 went 2 places over. They all shifted 2 places over. Notice there are 2 decimal places in 1/100, and they shifted 2 places. All right, there is a puzzled penguin question to do. For the sake of time, we're not going to do it, but I'd like you to think about maybe what he did wrong, because he was puzzled and he did make a mistake. For now, we're going to go on. All right, if we were in the classroom, we could do this with kids moving across the board, assuming they could stand next to each other, which right now they can't. But now we have Maria, and Maria, sorry, is it Marla or Maria? I think it's Marla. She earns $324 a month, and she's going to save her money. Okay, so 1/10 becomes $32.40. Okay, so how many places did they shift? Well, the 3 moved from the hundreds to the tens. It shifted 1 place to the right, and it became 1/10 as much. Just like our problem with Leon. Okay, now, like Leon, if she saves 1/100th, okay, and they could have put zeros in here. I don't know why they didn't do that. This is how much she saves. $3.24. So it shifted 2 places. Look where that 4 was in the ones, and now it's over here in the hundreds. It shifted 2 places again to the right, and it became 1/100th as much. All right, enough of looking at the pennies and the kids shifting. Let's just do some multiplying here. 24 times 1? 24. I want you just to watch me. Don't copy these down. 24 times 1/10? 2.4, right? 24 times 100 would be 0.24. Okay. Stays the same. 1 decimal, 1 shift, 2 decimals, 2 shifts. Okay, I'd like you to do these 3 for practice. So pause your video and do those. All right, here we go. 2 decimal places, 2 shifts. Here's your answer. 2 decimal places, 2 shifts. Now, they don't tell you where the decimal is in these. They're always at the end if you don't know where they are. So shifts, that everything shifts 2 places over, so it'd be 0.59, and this is going to be 67.2. All right, let's try this word problem right here, number 23. Brian gets $15 to mow the lawn. He saves 1/10 of his earnings. How much does he save? Okay, so 1/10, it's like dividing it by 5. It's going to make one shift to the right. So everything shifts over 1. And really, you'd have an extra 0 on the end, but we don't have that with money. So you just leave that last 0 off, and it would be $1.50. All right, let's have you try number 25. Gerard has 1/100th as much money as William. William has $125. How much money does Gerard have? All right, so your problem is this. We've got 2 decimals. We're going to make 2 shifts, 12.5. Okay, so this is going to be our first lesson. There's going to be a part 2. So tune in for part 2. This really was just kind of a review or doing the foundation work for getting ready to multiply by 2 decimals. So don't skip the second lesson.